So someone who he sent me stuff before and I kind of trusted, like I get a lot of junk and I'm like, don't send me stuff. And then I get some people, okay, you got an eye. This is important, this is germane. And he said, of course, men to blame, standard, whatever. He says, but she does have some good points. So I started reading through it and I'm just like, dude, I just didn't have the energy for it. I just didn't have the energy for it. So I'm going to read through this whole thing, and then we're going to take the most healthy approach to this, the most healthy solution, which I'll explain later. The title this is from Yahoo Life. So if already, dude, you're just a tabloid. All media in the United States is becoming tabloid. And this is about 6 months old, so it's relatively new. I guess this made traction. I know why women aren't having children. Men just aren't good enough. I'm like, okay. Right. All right, fine. Men just aren't good enough. So I'm hoping I skimmed it a little bit. And so I'm thinking, like, where are her points that are good according to my agent in the field? Angela Blair, known as Blair, is 34 and based in Belgrade. She travels and things and stuff. It looks like she negotiated to have that put in there so she can advertise her channel. She recently caused a stir with a post on LinkedIn advising women not to marry or have children. Okay, all right. My post ruffled a lot of feathers, but I stand by my point. Ladies should stay single and child-free, as marriage only benefits men. If a man cannot provide a comfortable life for his wife and family, then he shouldn't be having kids. Kids are luxuries after all. Men get all the pros of marriage, professionally, socially, mentally, and economically. I know. While women take on all the risks. Okay. From my experience as a millennial living in different countries, I see that the best thing a woman could do is be single and child-free. And if you really want to have kids, make sure you have the money and support and a support system. I posted this on LinkedIn because I was always seeing the same thing online. Mothers complaining about not seeing their children enough. It was never said by fathers. And I get that. In most societies, women take on the caregiving. But I want the voices of women without children to be heard too, so that people know there are other options. I'm not shaming mothers or women. It's completely the opposite. I'm shaming men, especially American ones. This happens if you guys are, because again, significant percent of my audience is black. Is this a black woman? Yes, it is. Surprise. You're at fault, guys. What was the passport bro thing again? Why is that happening? In Serbia, men see it as their role to provide for their kids, but also to look after them. But in the United States, you won't see a man carrying a baby in a sling. That's unmanly. American men play video games, look at Nebraska, and have been given up on the idea of striving to be better. Some of them have even given up on working at all. Yet somehow they still expect to get the most beautiful women. They're not going to school, starting businesses, hustling to be better men and mentors to others. It's left to women to do the work. We buy the books. We have the community and the friends. And then if we have children, we bear the physical, financial, and emotional burden. Emotional labor. I'm going to write that down. What is emotional labor? The idea is just keep on presenting themselves. Men can't take on the more traditional nurturing role because they can't get pregnant. As long as women have to carry the baby with all the dangers that brings, then men need to bring something else to the relationship, and that's earning money to provide for their family. The women I know who've married low income men are burnt out because although they're breadwinners, these men are Democrats. Oh, I'm sorry. These men aren't picking up the household chores. You have a partner who's unsupportive, thinks the housework is below him, and makes less than you. Just know, for too long, women have been scared into settling by others telling. I'm just trying to get through this. By others telling them that there's not enough great men, so you'd be glad of what you can get. But it's a fact that single women are happier, healthier, and richer. There's no quicker route to poverty than to have children with a deadbeat father. That's true. My life has informed my thinking. I was born in New York. No one cares. I was born in New York and brought up with my three sisters near Boston by a single mother. She worked hard to give us a good life. It was also helped by our extended family of cousins, aunts, grandparents. What about the taxpayer? But people don't live like that anymore. So you need other paid for support systems. My mom always told us not to settle, don't have kids, let alone three, or only have kids that you can afford to raise alone, as my dad was very part time and not invested in our family. I knew what she's not wrong on that. I knew that I wanted to live a large and extravagant life from the fifth grade, age 10. That's 24 years ago, quarter century ago. You're okay. And that to to do this, I couldn't have a family while young because it would inhibit me. You're not wrong. I've been able to bounce around the world because I don't have a husband and children occupying my time, impeding my freedom to live and flourish in all the countries I've settled in has required me to be smart, clever, and strategic. I have made my own luxury life and business. I going to press D for doubt. I want to see your tax. Everyone who says that they're a successful entrepreneur, I want to see their tax return. Show me your Schedule C. And I'm very proud of being a self-made woman. I'd be mad to jeopardize all that by having children with the wrong man. It is well known that marriage benefits men most, whether they're rich or poor. I see it all the time amongst the expat community. The wealthy men are married because they know they can have a wife at home doing all the invisible work while he's drawing on her energy and connection so he could travel the world or build a business. Fathers are respected in the workforce while women are not. The most successful men in the world are married. Just look at Rupert Murdoch. Isn't he on his like sixth marriage? He's been married 5 times. It's easy for pronatalists, those who encourage an increased birth rate, like Elon Musk, to say have more kids because they're not doing the work. Marriage is not about love. That's a relatively new phenomenon. It's about business and a merger of wealth. If I get married, I'll bring the same thinking and expertise to it as I do to the rest of my life. When I'm finally ready to have children, I want a night nurse, a doula, cleaners, nannies, a driver, and a cook. And if a man can't help provide this for a mother, she's going to exhaust herself. A lot of American women are overweight and tired because it's just not manageable for one person to do all the work, because working, expending calories of energy makes you fat. I love children and would love to have them, but it would not have been sensible to do this in my 20s. I was and am focusing on myself building financial stability and my company. Okay, company, sure. If the right person came along, I'd love to have or adopt kids, but ultimately, I'd rather regret not having children than regret having them. You see so many exhausted parents who wish they hadn't made the choices they did. And there are so many ways we could contribute to the world other than raising children. You know what? You're right. You're right. Marriage is a horrible proposition to women. Men have been abusing women this entire time. Men do not carry their weight. Women bear all the risks and the weight and the labor of marriage and relationships in general. It's too risky for women. You're absolutely right. And you know what? You know whose problem that is? That's your problem. It is. These men are horrible. They're absolutely atrocious. And what are you going to do about it? You can't shame these men into changing overnight. It takes a generation to raise a generation of men, right? At least 18 years. And they're not up for the challenge. You're absolutely right. Men are horrible. Marriage is horrible. Having kids is horrible. I mean, today, men do not carry their weight. These are just atrocious, horrible human beings. And you know what? There's no changing that. It's going to have to be the next generation. And since you are the ones who would like to have a man, I know you don't because it's true, but you said in theory you would like to have a man. Do you know what that makes this? That makes it a you problem, ladies. This is your problem. It is. This sounds like a you problem. You're the one who would like the quality, perfect man and the marrying thing and housework and all that. But these men aren't there. That's your problem. And I'm sorry for that. That just sounds horrible. And with all the berating and shaming men, which honestly she admitted up front, if that's your strategy, I don't think it's going to work on two accounts. One, like you just can't shame generations of loser, apathetic, Nebraska watching, unemployed, welfare collecting men, deadbeat men to man up and meet the qualities and the standards that you require. The other thing is this is not the first article, or you're not the first lady to go and tell men that they are just not matching up and they are inferior and they are horrible and oppressive and they're not doing the chores. This has been going on for quite a long time. And the other problem is that men just don't give a shit anymore. They don't care. So even if you try to shame them, which you are in this, they are so exhausted of hearing that broken record. And they probably don't have the wherewithal to like go become the quality men that you need. It's falling on deaf ears. Men, they're not. Here's another article that was yelling into the wind. I'm trying to figure out what the good points were that she had that my agent in the field wanted me to talk about. But the problem of you not finding quality men, ladies, that is your problem. And the fact that the men that do exist that would maybe be within your marriage and dating courtship age, they don't care. They've tuned out. They have you have no audience. So your strategy of shaming them is not going to work because they don't care. And the men that do remain are not up to your standards. And to that, I have a solution to your problem. If you'd like to hear it, there are two resources linked below. Because I think the good men and women at Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs had already done the research, and they had this thing called the rise of the she economy, where they forecasted 45% of women of marrying age will not be married by 30, which corroborates your opinion and view on men. There's some statistical veracity to what you say. And this isn't like unless they change or something happens. No, they're forecasting about half of young people aren't going to be married because if half the women, half the men ain't going to be married. And so I have a book called The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex, so that you girls are not as tortured as this woman here or frustrated. It gives you something else to pursue in life outside of the old patriarchal standard of a husband with kids. And especially, if people aren't going to help you raise it, you're not going to have a nanny or a doula or a maid, and your husband ain't going to do the dishes and he's just going to go out and work or whatever, you got to give up on that. So, well, what am I going to live life for now? That's why I wrote this book called The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex, because half of you are not going to be married. You're not going to have anyone in your life. That's a reality. And it's a forecast, but I think we're well on the way to that being a reality. So for both men and women, I wrote this book called The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. It's for you to find purpose and meaning in life. Although I didn't mean to insist or suggest that men having a man in your life would be your point of purpose in life. I'm just saying outside of the opposite sex, it wouldn't even be a purpose and meaning in life. It'd be an acquisition. It'd be unlocking an achievement in a video game, I guess. There are other things for you to do with your time. Some of you maybe wanted to be a wife and get married and have kids. That's not going to be it. You're not going to be able to do that. So there are other things you can do, obviously, that you don't need a man for, and that's in the menu. And then there's also a menu for you. There's the men's menu and there's the women's menu. There's appetizers that go for both men and women, and then there's desserts that also goes. It's co-ed as well. But there's two distinct menus for point and purpose and meaning and enjoyment in life in the menu. Life Without the Opposite Sex for the two sexes. And so there's that. Then there's also this book, Zero World Problems, where if you're not going to get married and you're not going to chase boys, you're going to have a tremendous amount of free time on your hands. And certainly you can work and earn money. Like you're starting a business, right? The Schedule C of which I'd like to see. Um, and that's fine. That's good. But there are a lot of other things you can do to improve your standards of living. It's not about money. And there's a whole to-do list here at the back of this book that you can rip out the pages and put it on your refrigerator and just check them off one by one. 4 years of near full-time work, a lot of stuff to do, to improve your life on a tangible level, oftentimes without an added expenditure of money or very little expenditure of money that significantly improves your standard of living and consequently your life. And so I'd recommend for men and women to get that book, Zero World Problems, because yeah, without men, without children, you're going to have a lot of time on your hands. And so I would advise to you ladies, I mean, it does sound like a you problem because it is a you problem. Yeah, there's not a lot of quality marriageable men, and there won't be because again, it takes a generation. Well, you're going to get the soy boy millennial. You're going to get David Hogue to hit the gym. You're going to get these young men to get off of disability for a made up mental illness you girls voted the welfare state in for. You think they're going to all of a sudden start saving up money and being able to afford a doula or a maid, let alone food for the children or a house and to take care of you? I mean, seriously, the math, it's not going to happen. It's just, especially if you're 34. I mean, most 30, yeah, I mean, maybe those guys would turn around, they get to that level at 50, but you'll be barren by that time. You won't be able to have children. Let's freeze your eggs now. Freeze your eggs. Should be doing that. Every one of you girls should be freezing your eggs. That's your insurance policy. That way you can have kids anytime you want, at least according to the egg freezing people. So this is a you problem. The men currently in the state will not meet your standards or expectations. You berating them or shaming them or even perhaps intellectually debating or arguing or convincing them. I don't think that's going to work either. Because as I said, your second problem is men have completely tuned out. They don't care anymore. Like all that stuff, they don't care. They don't care that only men benefit from marriage. They don't care that men don't do any of the chores. They don't care. You're right. They don't care. They don't care that they're deadbeats. They don't care that women are just abused in every aspect of romance and dating and courtship, and they just don't care. You're right. And they have tuned you out. So there's now no even convincing or negotiating with the current age of men that might make husbands with, for your generation. They're gone. So there's zero chance of you getting this particular aspect of life. I don't want to say taken care of, but squared away. All right. So, and it's not their problem. This isn't their problem. They're not looking for husbands. They're not looking for, they might be looking for wives, but I think they've even given up on that. They've accepted they're not going to solve the problem. So it's up to you. This is your problem. And what I'm recommending is kind of like men, you stop it. Isn't it getting tiring? How many decades have you mean this gal's only 34? And it's been going on for generations before you. But I could speak for I think most of the men, they're tired. They don't care that they're not meeting your standards. They don't care how many ways they failed, how many in your past failed you, how short fallen they are to win you over. They don't care anymore. It's like the end of World War I. Both sides are exhausted. The civilians are starving. Everyone is depleted. And men don't even have the energy to care anymore. And I'm thinking maybe you girls should get to that stage too. You can scream and howl at the moon and shame all you bad man. Oh my God. I think you should take a much more healthy approach like the men have, and they're just walking away from the battle if they don't care anymore. I don't need to hear this, but we don't care. They don't. And why don't you girls stop caring too? Well, come on. Where's the whining and complaint? You're 34. I mean, you got like maybe 6 years left of an okay statistical shot of kids if you wanted kids, but apparently you don't want them. So why even write the article? Why get worked up? Why you all hot and bothered? Why are there even TikTok videos of the girls facetiously, I might add? I find a guy that just stop it. Just stop it. Yeah. Men aren't chivalrous. Pick any random TikTok video. Where have all the good men gone? But I don't know, but they're not there. Sounds like a you problem. Why aren't men chivalrous anymore? Don't know. Sounds like a you problem. You can't find a chivalrous man. That's a you problem. None of these men are economically available. Well, that's a you problem. No, it's a men's problem. No, that's all these problems are you. Why don't men protect us anymore? Daniel Penny sounds like a you problem. And for the guys, because the guy sent me the article on this, like, oh my God, look at this. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know what? I want to kind of move the thought, or at least my audience of people are put the idea out there. Like, yeah, how long have we been arguing about this? And have we made any progress? You know what? I think it's time for oh, that's horrible. Yep, you're 100% right. Men suck. And in a certain philosophical way, they do, according to them, and they're the ones that want to date the men. So in terms of romantic desire, women determine whether or not men are attractive or not. And if they say they suck, well, then in a certain philosophical sense, yes, men suck. And you know what? Men aren't going to change because they're not going to do anything about it. And it's like, yep, I guess men suck. Okay, bye. That's it. I think we leave it at that, right? Yep. The Allies won. The Axis lost. Okay, Treaty of Versailles. Bye. We're leaving now. Our troops are going home. We're not fighting anymore. You won, or whatever. You're right. Men do suck. Boy, they sure suck. Stupid men, whatever, problems and working and not making six, whatever it is, whatever the complaint is. Not vacuuming the right way. Who knows? Who cares? Men don't care. Like if one army doesn't care to fight anymore, you ain't got a war no more. There's nothing to argue. They leave. Yay, you won. And you're right. And you know what? I think that's a healthy thing. You know what, ladies? You're right. Men are just horrible. And marriage is a bad thing for women. And there's some moral men like, yeah, you know what? If it's bad for women, I don't want to do that to my wife. If that's bad, I don't want to do that. And if those are your standards and requirement, and only men benefit from marriage and all that, you know what? We're not even going to argue with you. We're just going to say, yeah, it's true. And we're going away. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. And I think that would be a good thing healthily, where at least for the guys, like, yeah, what you think these articles are going away? You think these TikTok girls with the rage bake and the inauthentic? Oh my God. So like I took him and he didn't pay for the dinner, and I only ordered $270 worth of crab or lobster or whatever sea creatures adds up to $250 nowadays. And oh my God, like, no, I got a better idea. Why don't we turn off the internet? Why don't we go out into the real world? And, if you see a cute girl, sure, ask her out. And if she's got the same attitude or mentality because she's been watching, okay, cool. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I'll just fix the car. I'm not going to do the dishes, but I'll fix the car. That's not good. Okay. All right. You want me to pay for a doula and a mistress and maybe not a mistress, a maid, maybe a mistress. What? No, I can't afford that. I guess I'm an economically unavailable. It's so pointless. It's so mentally tiring. You ain't even on a date with these people. And I think men have seen enough in the real world and the facetious. And I think she's authentic about this. Men are just horrible creatures. They're failing at every. Yeah, okay. We heard it before. It's nothing new. Our minds need to be challenged, or we need to make progress in other fields. But this has been a dead end for quite some time. And you know what? You're right, ladies. Men are horrible creatures. And you know what? We don't care. Good luck to you. Sounds like a you problem. And exit stage right. And then men go on and do whatever it is that they want. And ladies, you can too. And then ladies, you can also participate in this indifference by not caring anymore, right? The men are leaving you alone. They're going away. They weren't good enough anyways. And now all these unworthy men have left you in peace. And now you can do whatever it is you want to do in your life, which I recommend is in the menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. And then we kind of just, can we be good neighbors? Right. We're not gonna trade beads for whiskey at the frontier trading post anymore. Okay, fine. But that doesn't mean we can't be friendly, right? We can't work together. We're just not going to bother with the dating and the courtship because the guys are not meeting your requirements. And frankly, you girls like this? Constantly bickering and whining, complaining that men aren't meeting her, or maybe there'd be healthier alternatives to this. And men, instead of you going for the rage bait, like, oh my God, just like, oh, and I think that's actually happening. I think guys is like, okay, whatever. Sure, yep, you're right. We're aware you don't need no, yeah, yep, economically unreliable. Horrible. Yep, chore, emotional labor, and oh, men are just, yep, they're just horrible creatures. I wouldn't marry a single one of them either. You're absolutely right. You're right. So since the situation is impossible, let's move on and put our efforts towards other more productive, happy things, right? Good. All right. So there you go. I know, ladies, the lack of quality men, that that is a you problem. The fact that the men that do exist who are low quality refuse to upgrade the quality and aren't listening to what you have to say, that is also a you problem. It might be, if they care to meet your standards, then it would be their responsibility, and then that would make it their problem. But I don't think they care anymore. I think they're just too damn tired, and they are like, nope, peace and quiet or something else. So there you go. Thank you to the agent in the field. I want to thank Blair for writing that article. I think it was real. I am curious how much that thought or opinion or view um, pervades in young women today. It doesn't matter though. Girls were interested in men. You could ask them out. They're over there. Before, yeah. In the meantime, guys, don't. How about this? Like, that was it was a pretty well written thing. I think it was authentic. Okay, cool. You guys are like sending me some video, like, oh my God, here's another TikTok girl. Like, we don't need no, like, yeah, like the previous 10,000 videos. Like, okay, let's do something else, huh? I mean, if it's really atrocious and it's absurd and not any kind of even a clickbaity way, but let's just, like that academic study that came out from the University of Toronto by Juan, Hoan gal. Single women are happier. I'm like, okay, this is an academic study came out 2 months ago. Good for you. Like, okay, is this the latest research? All right, so it's official now. You single girls. Okay, I'll read about that. Some TikTok girl, like, oh my God, like that. No, no. Lives are too short for it. Lady, your lives are too short for it too. Why don't you go write a book, go pick up golf, go get a master's degree, go travel. This gal likes to travel, right? It's in that book, The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. Go travel. But stop bothering men. Just save your time. Come on, man. Yes, yes, we know. Men are horrible. It's just it yeah, okay. Maybe maybe make it a biannual event, right? Once every 2 years, there's the great complaining of the men, right? The lamentations of the men, and complain about them once every 2 years. And then we'll be updated. Let us know if there's anything different. Probably not. And then that way we all free up our time to go do other things, right? Wouldn't you girls rather go fishing? You're not happy. I'm just trying to get you to stoically accept there is no solution to your problem. Therefore, it's not a problem because there is no solution. So don't worry about it. And now you move on, right? Once you realize there's no solution to your problem, the problem goes away because you're just going to suffer the consequences of that outcome. So the problem is now reality. It is nothing to worry about anymore. So it's no longer a problem. See what I did there? A little bit of, philosophical jujitsu. Now go find a new problem that you can actually do something about, right? Because you got to admit, these men are never going to turn things around, right? Guys are like becoming, truck drivers and Amazon delivery guys and landscapers and chimney sweepers and window washers and tradesmen. That's like not up to you. These are not the investment bankers and six-figure guys you need. So they're not, and that these guys are going to insist on like maybe somebody, taking care of their own children and not paying for it because they don't have a budget for it. They're frugal. They're fiscally responsible. It's not going to fly. It's simply not able to deliver what you want. So go get another master's degree. Go pick up golfing. Wax the car. Pick up the house. 4 years of full-time work on things you can do here. Zero world problem available on Amazon. How many countries have you traveled? There's like 178 countries. Go travel them all. I recommend Vietnam, and I'm sorry, not Vietnam, North Korea, and Venezuela and Cuba. Go check out those places. Let's go to the super chats. Potato sauce, 10 Australian dollars. This is the best way to approach people's problems, especially if they do nothing to fix it. Why are you approaching people's problems? These are not your they're people's problems. You should be too busy with your own life to help those who won't help themselves. I have so learned not to care about identify your problems and other people's problems. Then you solve your problems and you don't solve other people's problems. That's how simple it is. Why would you fix somebody else's problems? And have you ever tried to help someone fix a problem? They hate you. They never do it. You waste your time. That's why I charge at Asshole Consulting. I don't do it for free because whether they follow my advice or not, I don't care. I got their money. Could you imagine trying to help this gal find a guy, or the whatever percentage of young women who happen to share her sentiment, which I think is at least half. I'd like to help you, ladies, but there are no solutions. There are none. Sean Weiland, $2, 66% of black men with degrees work for the government. What, really? Where's the stat on that? I'm not that I doubt you. I'm kind of curious. I wouldn't doubt it. XLV $5. I stopped caring about what women think, and my life has never been better. I can't recommend it enough. I know that once I got the girl I got now, I wasn't out chasing girls or dating or was a big nightclub guy, but I go salsa dancing or swing dancing or what, there was time and effort. There were other things going on, but yes, my life did improve financially in other ways a lot better because my time wasn't wasted. I was working on other shit. Space Cowboy. Hey, there's Spike Spiegel. $5. Unless you're my wife or child, it really isn't my problem. Even then, men have a small window for those who don't cooperate. I want to get to the point where you do not bother ever helping somebody with a problem, unless you know they're going to help you with something and they deserve it and they're going to appreciate it. That's where that Amish Mennonite thing coming in, where we're going to raise a barn or build houses to help out one another. Like you actually have a real community. I got a real community with my poker group. Like we help each other out. I'm eternally thankful to the guys and the gals that help me out. Like I'm like, dude, you name it, whatever you need, let me know. I'll help you out. But most people, they don't want the problem solved, and that's why I don't help anyone. Even if they're good people, I'm kind of like, well, that's your problem. You got into it. You go figure it out. Potato sauce, $2 Australian. All these super chats win 200,000 Hermes. Never. Dude, This was an expensive watch. This is a Phoenix 7X Pro Sapphire. It came recommended from a hiking buddy of mine who has the same one, and it has GPS on it and just solar panels. So if I'm ever out in the wilderness and I get lost, I just let this sit in the sun a little bit, click on the thing, there's the map, and I know where to go to get back to civilization. And that's this was a $750 watch. One of the rare nice things I bought myself. I will never, ever buy a $200,000 handbag. I won't buy a $200,000 car, which has practical use. The only thing $200,000 I'm buying would be property. That's it. Or retirement fund. I will never buy a thing I consume for 200,000. MMR, $5. We all become MGTOW in the end. Yes, I think so. Especially with the internet. It shows. It's like, hey, here's the real world, man. This is what happens. And everyone's like, oh, this is the real. And girls aren't hiding it anymore. I mean, does this article that I read, does it sound like she's trying to be diplomatic or adroit or trying to hide it? We're seeing it. We're seeing it now. The internet, girls, see, 50 years ago, women kept the wraps on it, right? And I think women back then maybe even like guys a little bit too. Now it's just like, good Lord, can we see some nice girls who just like the guy for who he is? Is that a thing, or is it always he better this? It's all transactional. The curtain has been ripped off the curtain rod, and it's been burned, and then they brought in some floodlights for you to see what's going on behind the curtain. And after an article like that, you think guys are gonna line up to get married? Like, what did that article? I guess it got some traction. What is that article going to achieve? That's just going to drive men away. And I don't think you can drive anybody. They're gone. They're already driven away. They don't care anymore. My truth, the king. If you are a motivated man with drive, skills, and desire for family overseas is a solution, I'm increasingly agreeing. Because even if you're a high value man or a dirty tradesman, they ain't worth it. If you find the right girl, blah, blah, only because I've met girls, there are quality girls out there. I'm not as dire or dark or black pill. You got to date a lot of them. It's an exhausting, incredibly time consuming process. The only way I did it was my profession, being a dance instructor and a economics teacher. Like, I'm in front of a bunch of young women, like a band. You're in front of a band, and you think, oh, this is fun being in a band, or it's fun being in teaching dance courses. And it is, but it's time. And I think of all the time and all the girls I met through what was my profession, which I was doing 20 hours a week for 14 years. Think about that. 20 hours. What is that? No joke. Sometimes more than 20 hours a week. 20 times 52 times 14. That's 15,000 hours, shy of 15,000 hours. Yes, I was compensated. Yes, it was fun. It was still 15,000 hours to find a handful of quality gals. Dude, I don't have time. If I wanted to go get married and have kids, I don't have 15,000 hours unless I'm getting paid for it. That has to be in addition to your full-time job and work an extra job to pay off your student loans. Like, no way. There's not enough time. There's not enough time. And so I think it is a very wise economic move to go outside your country, find more traditionally minded women if you're interested in marriage. But if there's a cute girl in your neighborhood, she's at the shopping aisle, ask her out. There are quality gals here. They're just in incredibly short supply. And if you'd like to know how short a supply, go get my other book, The Book of Numbers, Analyze the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. It's under 3% of women in marriage age ranges are marriage material. How'd you come up with that, Cappy? Well, go read the book and you'll find out. And then you could go, I disagree with the methodology. I say, okay, come up with a better one. Wayne Figgity. $5. Men need to leave us alone, but don't leave us alone like that. You know whose problem that is, Wayne? You know who, if they're being contradictory, do you know whose problem that is? That's a them problem. It's not our problem. That's their problem. Because men don't, men need two, and every guy just turned off. They just tuned out after that. We don't care anymore. I mean, really, it's another thing. People are like, well, how's the pendulum going to swing back? I was like, I don't think the pendulum's going to swing back. If it swings back, it's going to swing back silently. Men's absence and silence will be deafening. They'll just be gone. And we're already starting to see some statistics like that. Men aren't asking women out as much or barely asking them out. Marriage is dropping like a rock. Guys are, why? Did you read where's the counter? I will gladly start reading the articles where women sing the praises of men and thank men, like the opposite of the article I just read. Show me where those are. And if you can't find them, well, then maybe, ladies, you got a PR problem. Or I'm going to assume that this article more closely reflects what the majority of women want in men, which is, I mean, a slave, essentially, is from what I read with that one. So that's a them problem. They want men, but they don't want men. Glad I'm not you. Space Cowboy, $10. So basically, fembots pushing the same problems they create. Don't be a mom or a wife because of oppression. Instead, work until you drop, and your only family is your career in government. Okay, yeah. Space Cowboy, let me ask you. Let's practice, huh? Let's use this as an opportunity to practice what I talked about here. Are you caring what she says? Are you caring about the results of her decisions, where her life is going to end up? Not our problem. She's 34. With this current life philosophy and view towards men and dating, she will never have a man in her life. And you know what? That's okay, because guess whose life it is? It's her life. That's her problem. It's not our problem. And I guess we could look her up later, but I'm not going to remember her name. She'll just be another probably failed influencer, travel blog, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go. What am I going to do tomorrow? I went golfing today. I went to the gym today. I did some videos today. Tomorrow, I'll be on Rule 0. And then I'm going to go for a motorcycle ride tomorrow. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to do. And then my girlfriend made me dinner today. We had a nice dinner. We had some beef ribs. And then I'm going to play some Red Dead Redemption. I'm going to maybe watch some Alan Ballin podcast when I go to sleep. And then we're going to do it all over again. And I'm going to visit my family in June. I'm going to live my life. And I hope it's like Winston, where he's arguing with the guy and may you enjoy the Continental and may you too, sir. Where it's just like, get the fuck out of my face. These are your problems. Hey, she will have a life of working for the government and being a travel blogger. Cool. My truth, the king. $5. Minimalism is the way to go. Why build to be high salary to lose it? Voted to socialism. Oh yeah, no, that's why I've always gotten by in about less than 60 grand most of my life. I mean, adjusted for inflation. Why am I going to work hard? What's funny is in her article, none of these men work. I'm like, do you think it could have anything to do with the Democrat socialism you voted in for all the free gimme dats and all that? You think maybe that's why these men don't have, if there were no welfare program, do you know how many real men there would be? You wouldn't have David Hogg. You'd have a lot of guys go like, oh shit, I'm going to starve. I better work. You girls keep voting in to bail them out. You know whose problem that is? It's their problem. They got the Democrat soy boy pussies they wanted in men. There they are. Oh, they're crying and they're emotional and they need government handouts. They don't know how to work or budget money. Oh, really? I don't want to date young Democrat men. Could you imagine being a woman today wanting to date the men that was raised by the government? You girls got exactly what you want. They're all sensitive and low. To maybe find the 2 to 3% Amish Mormon gal who is worth the risk. Nope. Yeah. Just, hey, women are equal now. Okay. And they can pay equal taxes and they can go and work equal share and let them do that. My car doesn't work. Whose car is it? It's your car. Oh, that's a you problem. It's definitely the deeds. Your name's on the deed, right? It's on the title. That's a you problem. Space Cowboy again for $5. The best response going forward. Thanks for letting me know. How is that the best? I like sounds like a you problem. Because it's basically telling them to fuck off, and it puts the like, sounds like a you problem. Better go like you get to deal with it. Why are you bothering me? Thanks for letting me know is like too polite. Thanks for letting me know. I mean, if you said it with the right tone, oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. What do you want me to do about it? I know this is funny, but in this book, I even get to the point that like you should have a life where there's your spouse, man or woman, but you know which one we're talking about. There's no crying or nagging or arguing. Because, like, why are you? There's no arguing. No, we're not doing that. You're not allowed to cry. Use words. You're a full grown fucking adult. and very simple, like basic logic. Like, no, that's your car. You fix it. No, that's your student loan debt. You're paying it off. I'm not paying it off. Like there's this real clear and no, you're not to come to me with your crying or your emotions or anything else. You deal with that problem. Why am I being looped into it? Just because like we're together? That makes no sense. You don't share a problem. Do I bother you with my problems? Do I cry if I don't get the thing that I want as a 42-year-old adult male? No, but 42-year-old adult women apparently do. I like Vince's approach where it's like you're not he's get the egg timer out, sets it for 2 minutes. You can bore me with your boring fucking talk. Tell me about Becky, that bitch at work. You got 2 minutes to do it, and then we're moving on. And you better. It's fun, happy talk. I'm not here to be your punching bag or your armor, your bullet plated armor to take your shots for you. My brain is not to be abused with your sad tales of woe. You are here to be fun and flirtatious. And if you need to talk to a therapist, go talk to a therapist. Fucking bore me with your boring shit. Rolex, $2. Would you ever buy a Rolex? No. I know they have some retain their value. They're more akin. I'm not completely ignorant about these high-end watches. A lot of them do kind of retain their value more like precious metals. But I'll just go get precious metals. I don't know. Rolex, it's just let's say you got a roll of silver. Okay, you drop it. It's fine. You fart on it. It's fine. Not that I go farting on my silver, but I wake up and I'm a San Franciscan and I got weird shit going on. I don't know. It's farting on your silver Fridays. But a Rolex, that's like a nice thing. And then I scratched it, or I got to be careful, Be like having a really nice car. I got to park it where people aren't. Look out for the curbs. So no, I'd probably just go get more precious metals. Tina Pond, 10 generous dollars. Am I supposed to have fun before college, or should I be getting ready to study? I want to study physics, but I haven't been in school for 8 years. Should I figure it out myself? Laugh aloud. No, for $10, I'll give you some advice. Go get the book Worthless. Read through that. Physics is an okay degree, but you need to get like applied physics or some kind of engineering. Because if you just study general physics, your main employment is just, you got to get a master's degree in physics and a PhD. Then what can I do with it? Teach physics. So since academia is a mental insane asylum, I would avoid that. And you're supposed to have fun before college. I'd be getting ready to study. Well, you haven't been in school in 8 years. That was your fun time. I hope you had a fun time. Now it's time to get serious and go back to school for something serious. So, I mean, look, if you're going to put the effort into physics, that's a hard degree. One, you go into chemical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, one of the engineering, civil engineering, even. If you're more math actuarial science. You guys, I don't know why people don't put their time into figuring out what you should study. It's just, well, I think this is fun. No, man, it's got to have a job at the end of it. So that's what I would do is I would revisit your degree choice. The book Worthless, Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major will help with that. But I don't know, be perfectly honest, I'd be taking like, how are you going to college? Right? Are you going fresh? Like you got no college credits at all? If that's the case, I'm going to tell you right now, go to Western Governors University and get your prereqs out of the way. Or the local community college. You get your first 2 years dirt cheap, preferably online, accredited, Western Governors University. Get that shit out of the way, get a high GPA, and then start applying for engineering schools for the actual last 2 years, the engineering programs. Find out like where about you got to apply. Some might want you to apply as a freshman or whatever. But that's what I would do is get your prereqs out of the way at the local community college or online. Make sure they transfer into an engineering program or whatever program you inevitably decide at a full-on 4-year university. That way you save a shit ton of fucking money on your first 2 years of college tuition and the convenience if you're going online. And then you're really only paying full price for the last 2 years. All right. Real, $2. Girlfriend dressed you for golf. 2 words. Ellen Nordgett. No, because I never married my girl. See, Tiger could have consulted Asshole Consulting. Well, not back then because Asshole Consulting didn't exist. But yeah, I see that. You see that? Nothing's on that. That's right. That's right. And I wouldn't be perfectly honest. You just avoid tens. And how the fuck was Tiger supposed to avoid? His most recent girlfriend tried to sue him because he broke up with her. Like when you're that famous and wealthy, you're just fucked. You're just plain fucked. So I wouldn't be going out with Ellen Nordgren because she's too good looking, right? She's a hottie, right? Nah. I mean, yeah, I'd bang and oh, sure you wouldn't. Like, no, I wouldn't marry this gal. Wouldn't. But yeah, my girlfriend. Here, let me give you some insight base. Let me help you with women. Let me explain women to you guys, okay? Let them dress you. Okay. The reason why is, do you give a fuck? I mean, there might be a key few things like, no, I need these good suits for work, or I like this for hiking, or I need these specific clothes for these specific things. But if you got a gal you like, you're committed to her, you're not dressing up for other women. Let her choose the fucking shirt, man. Make her happy. Do your hair the way you like this haircut. I do. Okay. I don't like your beard that way. How would you like it? All right, I'll do it for you. These glasses, she picked them out. I picked out these glasses for myself because I had to get a new prescription, but they're almost too powerful. Like, because I think these are more fashionable, but the prescription on them is off. But oh man, I mean, you think I look good in those pants? All right, I'll wear those pants. Whatever, babe, makes you happy. You like these shoes? All right, I'll wear those shoes. Look at Vince over at Masculine Geek. His girlfriend loves it where he wears the gag ball and has the beads up his ass. Like, oh, okay, babe, whatever you want. So, yeah, it's a very small thing to make your woman happy. And then you don't have to worry about that shit. Okay, fine. I don't care. I mean, within reason, you don't want her making you dress like an idiot, but my girlfriend's got pretty good taste. Wayne Figgity, $5. Radiation protection nuke plant doesn't require degree only certification, pays over 100,000. Burp, there it is. Hang on. Radiation protection. I'm going to add that to the list of jobs that don't require college degrees. Where is it? Radiation. Got to get back to that. Radiation protection. Radiation protection at nuclear power plants. There you are. Let me save that. They'll be added to the master list in South Dakota. Thank you, Wayne Fady. I appreciate that. They'll help out a lot. And railroads, guys. If you're interested, the railroads, go look at the railroads. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for all the super chats. That's about it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. Link to Worthless and Zero World Problems below. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.